Okay, so yeah, it's 1:45, almost 2 a.m. and I want to embark on about an hour plus coding session, and yeah, we need some good music. Okay, this sounds good enough. Let's work with this. Okay, so let's get down to business. So we were transitioning some modules in the last one, and in this one I actually want to work on a microservice which I've been working on for a bit, translating the code from JavaScript into Golang. I have a bunch of microservices to transform, or the transition, right? And yes, I am new to Golang, but I get the hang of it. So let's actually start looking at the code. There we go. Okay, so this is gonna be fun. Let's walk this through. Okay, so far we have a couple of modules transposed. We recently set up, or rather imported this from a sample project that implemented Viper for configurations, right? And as you can see, Viper is being imported right here, and it's being used in configurations at the sections, right? So Viper setup. Now in our previous projects, we have the configuration scripts, right? And we can just make a copy of the configuration listings, any specialized endpoints and stuff. Oh yes. We don't want to do that. So let us actually just move this over to here. Thank you. We can close on this, guys, for now. Yes. Okay, let's walk through these configs. Okay, so this project actually has the configurations in 3 sets: servers, database, and email. I think our configurations fall under 3 sets too. We have Keycloak, we have RabbitMQ, and then we have Redis, right? Majorly. So I will transpose this into 3 forms. I will say env, and that's environments. Yeah, environments. Environments queues. Let's say RabbitMQ. That's messages. Yes, and Redis or database. Should I call it database or should I call it? Let me call it cache. Yeah, cache. Okay, so which means we're going to create 3 different major configuration structs here to match. Yeah, I'm also going to, for now, have these 3 sets here. Okay, so server configuration, we're going to create a unique type environment configuration. Okay, so what would be in the environment configuration? Just basic stuff. Environments. Yeah. env, which is either dev or production. Env is going to be of a type string, and we have a default preprint for it. Default is development. So we also have a configuration for the ports, which is going to be a default for most of default ports. Let's say 50 40. Yeah, that should do it. Okay, and a configuration for debug status. Let's have that. the box status for default, and this is a boolean actually, right? So yeah, the box status for default of 2, right? So the box status is 2, typically be false, and then I think that's okay for now. So let's start that up for environment. Yeah, so environment configuration, and then we have okay, so we've started up for environment configuration. We have another type called messages configuration. This will, yeah, so this will actually configure the RabbitMQ stuff, right? So we have details on that up here. RabbitMQ host, queue, yeah, the host and the queue majorly, right? So let's actually get on with that. So yes, is there a default host? I don't know. Okay, let us make it an empty string by default. Now let's see, host rabbit mq q, right? Yes. Okay, and then we have another type reference for cache configuration. Now this will actually contain, yeah, env should also contain keycloak configurations, right? So, or do you want to have that separated? Yeah, let's do that separated. Let's say type keycloak configurations, right? And then we can actually have that separated into its own thing. Okay, so for keycloak, what do we have in there though? Yeah, we have the KCID client, client ID, client secrets with direct URL and the web. Okay, so for those we just go ahead and just, for now let's just create this throughout. Okay, and let's work this. So client ID, okay. Oh yeah, transparent. Hold on, I want it to be non-transparent actually. Yeah, I need it to be fully visible. Yes, thank you. Okay, yes, so the client ID here, let's see, yeah, okay, and then no, not port, sorry, client secrets, yeah, so we also have with direct URL, yes, please, and we also have the okay. Yes, so with this guys popping here, let's actually set this up. Yeah, messages match into a message configuration, and cache, yes, you are going to match to a cache configuration. We're also going to have keycloak, which is going to map to a keycloak configuration. So cache, let's see, what have we got here? We need Redis, Redis host, right? So let's see, What's the problem with this? Compile error while importing this. Okay, missing the Golang entry for the module providing this. Whew. Okay. We will look into that problem separately. So within this, we need the Redis address, Redis password, Redis DB. Okay. So Redis address. Okay. Redis address. Need to prefix it with Redis. Since it's a cache, I'm going to Redis. Address, password, and DB. Okay. DB will be an int though, so I think what type of int? If I say int, okay. Why was it just the value? Okay. So let's say int. Default place about 7. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at this again. We have all of these sets. Yeah. All of these other ones we're going to go ahead and kick them into a sort of oblivion. Now we have Viper read and Viper rest and all the rest of that stuff. Okay, so server API key, DB, email. So this is about setting the defaults, right? So this struct where okay. So on initialization, all configurations should actually be referenced to make sure it returns an implementation of this struct, right? As you can see here. So if you read the configuration, right, and let's see, okay. That's interesting. Oh, so variable configuration here is just an empty struct of an empty reference to a configuration struct, and it's going to be used internally here when reading the configuration, right, through this, because the Viper is going to unmarshal the configuration into the appropriate type, right? So after the automatic configuration env and the reading of the configuration file path, if you do the initializations, do the bindings, and then unmarshal it into this configuration object. And from what we've seen so far in right now, I'm not going to Viper's documentation. I'm just pulling a file from a configuration file from a open source project, and I'm taking into cognizance the Viper structure, the Viper configuration structure, and reading it into my own code base to get an idea of the best way. Okay, yeah, so essentially this is pre-configured to use YAML or YAML file extension configurations, right? So with that said, let us mute the light of our previous configuration, right? And yes, we're going to try to focus more on highlighting and using the new configuration. So we have server here that is pointing to server env, server port, server domain, dir, passphrase, all of those different titles and names and all of that, right, with default configuration options. Meanwhile, it's been bounded here, right, as you can see, with the appropriate title, and as you can see, server generate password length. Even this generate password length, this phase, do we have it in this project base? Let's see, generated password length. right? So we have it bounded here, we have it set as set default here. Interesting. And then we have it up here, as you can see, right? So it actually existed there, just that every title that we see here will actually in the bound, that's in the binding function, be turned into a lowercase. So we're just going to implement those in our own setup. Give me a second here. Yes, so give me the config file, please. So while we are keeping track of the general structure up here, right, let me go back up here, because this is what we want to actually have in each of our configurations. So for now, we will start out with the env, for example. We can just come here, since we know that the configuration struct is actually going to feature, let's move you up, right, and let's move you down, thank you, hierarchy. So env first, then kick look. So let us actually take on env. So env is just going to go here and just put this environment, right, dot env, and then environments dot ports, as you can see, environments debug, not domain, debug. And each of these will just match to the actual file in the configuration, either in YAML configuration or in .env configuration. I think I will try YAML configuration. Yeah, let me see how this works out. So yeah, debug, please. Okay, and server passphrase and the rest. Yeah, these guys, we can comment them out. Generated password length, access token expiration. Yes, we need to actually have some configurations for JWT secrets, right? So we can actually have that as part of the environment and say JWT. Okay, right, and for any title being named like that, default of for JWT secret is empty, right, just for the sake of the laws. Now we can do that here and say JWT secrets like this, right, and it should be JWT secret. You know what? Yeah, this should work fine. Okay, so with that set, we JWT secret is not a boolean, please, it's a string. Thank you. Now, what else do we want to have under servers? We can actually, hide the rest of that. Okay. Now, kick look. I would like to write this from scratch and appropriate target kick look bindings. So, viper.bind env, and we can title this key look. Kick look dot client ID, right? For example, will be bound to kc underscore ID. That's a good one. No, is it kc underscore ID? How is it being used internally? No, we don't need that actually, but I know that we need to have kick look ID, yes. And then so we need to also have client secrets. Yeah, thank you. And then we also need to have a redirect, yes, URL. Yes, thank you. What's this? Nope, we don't need that. And then yes, so after that URL, also need the okay, yes, okay, yes, So let's do this. Let's keep everything under the binder. Thank you. Now I also have to set up messages, right? So let's see. You know what? Since I'm sure I don't need you, be gone. Same thing with you guys, please. Yeah, I know. Wait, what was that? Yep, thank you. Wait, what was that? That's weird. Okay. Yeah, wrong keyboard keys. Okay. Now this will be email. I would like to just make this. We have messages. Sorry. Let's see. This one is titled emails, and you have to set the defaults again. Okay, don't worry. We can ignore the setting of defaults for now. Yeah, we cannot set up defaults for now, but for now, let us just virtually change the implementation. Wait, what was that? Yeah, let's change the implementation for emails. Right. Replace email instances first with let's see, messages, right? And then nope. Wait, can't I just do it the Vim way? Wait, can't I do it the Vim way? Okay, good. So yes, we can do it the Vim way. But that was replaces everything. But let's say I go back. Hold on. I'm trying to test something in Z right now. That's the shift. Okay. So we have emails, right? If I do it the Vim way, let's see. S/email replace with messages / gc. What will this do? Is it messages? Yes. It just changes everything straight up. Okay. Okay. Noted. New skill unlocked. Use sparingly. So the messages here are actually just two, right? So we can actually delete everything else. And they are just two forms. We have the stop messing up. We have the rabbit MQ hosts. Yes. We also have the rabbit MQ queue. Yes. Okay. Now for the defaults. For now, I would like to just, do the usual. What's going on? What's that? I would just like to do the usual. Yeah. Okay. And then generate key. I would likely need something like you in the future. Maybe not in this project, but it look interesting. You take an array of bytes, 32, a slice of that representing the key, and you do some encoding of a key string, right? Wherever that 32 bits is of randomly enriched values, as we can see here, right? This will randomly fills the byte with cryptographically secure random bytes, yes, and base 64 std encode it, that is encoding the string and return that. Makes sense. That's actually a cool, wow, that's an interesting way to do it instead of just randomly getting bytes. Okay, I can work with that kind of key generation. So for now, with this set we can actually let's just also have this yeah, let's have that unlocked too. So reading this value, okay, so where do we configure the path, the base path to read from? So we have file join, configure paths, and the rest. Where would this be initially called? In some other structure. In the project that I was looking at, it's called password. Yes, password server. I think there's the config, yes. Okay, so let us actually look for the initialization so far. Okay, so this is the initialization call, and let's see where it might have been used in the future. Right, so we have the creation, and this the initialization. Okay, good. So you see that this was where it was initialized, right? Part of the constants here was a config path, right? I like to just get an idea of where this config path was pointing to, and it's of the constants stuff in pkg, right? So let's actually go to pkg. Nope, not that one. pkg constants, so good. So this is actually referencing /config, which is this /config in this directory or /config externally? Let me just look at that a bit more. This is on internal, and it's talking about /configs right here. So which means this configuration is actually going to be placed in this folder. Interesting name. In this folder, it's going to only go one layer up, right? Because when you go to the configs itself and you go down to the init core, you see the file path join actually uses the config plus the configuration, and so /config then config dot plus the extension, that's config dot YAML, right? Okay, so wherever the configuration for your project is, you have to place it in the config.yaml. What are you ignoring? Let me see. Okay, are you ignoring configs.yaml? Yes, you are, which means the configuration file is actually a config.yaml file. Okay. Let's go to the main project base. Let's actually see. In the readme, do they have any reference on that? They should also have a docs folder. Now this is an open source project. It's a core backend for an open source password manager, right? So in order to master certain languages, I tend to find projects that use them, open source projects especially, and then pretty much take that code base and start studying it, right? And I come across different toolings and technologies that they use and patterns that they use, right? So you can actually get the underlying pattern for utilizing that language, right? You don't just look at your project and be like, oh, how am I going to get this done? No, you start to figure out the patterns within, right? And guess what? I'm actually less than a month under Golang, right? But it's an important part. It will be an important part for our stack, right? So I'm pretty much pushing through it. It's actually quite simple for you. The syntax is quite clear. Just that I keep hearing that when to do more complicated things, you tend to have to repeat your code again and again and again. And thus, that's why the reason why you have to pay attention to how other projects use it in different areas. And I'm seeing that, yeah, it's actually pretty clean. But let us actually look at this. Environmental variables, yes. Okay, so let's see. Password uses advanced encryption standard AES normal, yeah. And encryption algorithm with gallows counter mode, right? Yeah. Okay, password encryption with AES can only be decrypted with the passphrase defined in the config.yaml file. I want to see a sample config.yaml file for this project, right? That's just all I want. That's just all I'm looking for. Let's see, client, blah blah blah. Shouldn't there be some example to work with? Store. Let me just check out other YAML files in this project, right? Yeah, let me check out YAML files in this project. So I have a Heroku.yaml file. Okay. a postgres.yaml file, cover all.yaml file. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't need to any specialization in the YAML file itself. All I just need is just key value attribute pairs, right? It's YAML, it can read it. So in that case, I think I got what I need. Let's get back to projects, please. No, not that one. Not that one. Okay, accounts, microservice, thank you. Okay, so we have configs folder. I would like the config or the YAML config to actually be open, just open straight up, right? So let's see, that's a config.yaml file, right? Or not config.yaml file, let's call it something. Let's call it env.yaml file. Yeah, yes, right. And it's just going to contain everything, not everything, yes, everything we've referenced within the bindings, right? env is not pw, one not password. Let's just call it as just env, yeah, just env. Oh wait, no, go env. Yeah, that will do it. I hope that doesn't mean anything. A valid way, or rather a valid measurement of this, right? So let's say env is def, right? Sheesh, I can see a lot of these little cricket monsters appearing outside my window. That's, give me a second. It's night and I'm not in the mood to pick up malaria. Yeah, I'm in Africa. Okay, so let's do this. We have go env, we have ports, yes. Whatever it should be title, it should be title, okay. Then we have domain. No, not domain. Debug, yes. Then beyond debug we have JWT secrets, yes. And after that we have KCID, KC secrets. Then we have KC redirect URL, and then we have KC okay, and then we have rabbit MQ hosts and the rabbit MQ queue. Okay, right. So far, are we good looking here? Are we looking good here? Right. I mean, the cache. Yeah, we didn't. You see, we've not done. Yeah, I knew we were missing something. We've not done this for. We've not done the bindings for Redis, right? So, let's call this Viper bind env. No, not double. Why did I do that? Yes. Cache dot wait, what's the sorry, okay, within cache systems, yeah, okay, cache dot address, which should be about pointing to Redis address, yes. About the Redis host, yes. Okay, yes. So we have cache address, we have cache password. So Redis, and we have cache db. I wonder why this needs to be a number though, but let's just have that. Redis DB. Okay, whatever. Let's see, Redis host, Redis password, Redis DB. Okay, so let's see. I would like to have a test module in here. Just for the sake of this, configs test.go. Yes. Let's see. This is under package config. Yes, please. And this is going to essentially test that module says, right? So what do I want to call this? Yeah, yeah, test config creation. Yes, and what would that look like? It's gonna take it, see which is gonna be a testing. Yes, testing dot tstruct, a pointer to testing dot tstruct. So t dot run, yes, generates configurations correctly. Yes, and this is going to be a function that takes this and yeah, it's going to first of all do it c dot helper. Yeah, this just lets our system know that a test, like it also our system know that a test is running in there. It tests with in the same context as the main t from outside, right? So okay. Is this going to use T or is this going to use something else? Are you using T? Yeah, using T, okay. So let's see, is it T dot yeah, no, the comparison is going to be happening normally. So I want to actually just okay, let us just first of all finish the config entry setup. So we need to just create a sample configuration here, right? Create sample configuration, and then that will be a matter of from configs dot init, right? Now we know that this is going to return two types here, right? Why are we having an issue here? This is package configs, yes. Is there a problem? Yeah. Import cycle will not allowed. Go list import cycle not allowed in test. Yeah. I don't know what that means, right? So I'm gonna Google some shit. Let's see. Okay. But before we come down to that nitty-gritty problem, we have the config part, right? Let us set that up first. Let's see.
Welcome back, tribe.
Parts.
Have an episode here from Honey Rum, a small channel, says men aren't as horny as we've been taught.
I'm gonna cut that out.
Let's go.
Okay, so what was that go issue again? What's that go issue again? Okay, go list import cycle not allowed interest. Okay, so what does it look like here? Come on, go list. Okay. First one is a Golang error, not a was error. I mean, yeah, it's a Golang error. I'm not. Of course, it's a Golang error. Oh yeah, cyclical inputs. I don't need to do this, right? I can just call init. No need for that extra shit, right? Yes. So no need to do that. Okay. And the path that is referencing here is jump out one step and find me env.yaml. And find me the env. Yeah, no, just jump one step out, please. Yes. Now the file that you're looking for, that is path. Yeah, path. And this is config path to config name, right? And the config name is gonna be env. And we know that we're using YAML type here, right? So I can just say path and then config name, right? So this is actually going to return me a configuration, a reference to configuration and an error, right? So let's see, a reference to configuration and an error. Okay. And if error is not new, which means an error really occurred, I need to look up more expensive error handling within Golang, right? So but for now, t.fatal, right? We like it to stop here, and not just fatal, yeah, fatal, yes. I'll just give me the error with the error string, yes. Now if you just say config, I would like you to print this config, right? So yes, please. Yes, I don't know what the config contains, right? So we would like to just get the full gist of it. Yes, thank you. And c dot not filled. Is there a success? Is there a complete? Is there a no? I mean, if it goes once to the end, yeah, it's a successful test. So let's see, let's test this out actually. So we can run this. Okay, so this is what it got. False, pass, blah blah blah. What does this mean? Let's run it again, please. Let me run this in particular. Okay, successful. Test configuration generation passed successfully. Yeah, the generation, it passed successfully, right? And then it prints this out. A reference to false bracket 0. Okay, I mean, obviously those are struct points, so let us actually fill in the config. So env configuration, there's go env, which is dev. Is that reference in this? No, not this one, yes, configuration, right? Wait, hold on. Okay, wait, hold on. So there's the file extension name and there's the file extension and file type. Okay, yeah, those both match. So we have an env set here, right? Environment. An environment here is actually supposed to point to default of develop, right? We didn't put develop, we put dev. Let's see, develop, and we call this go env, right? So if I calling that go env, this guy wasn't looking for go env or looking for env. Let's see, go env, right? And is that correct? Environment, Yeah, that looks good. Environment. That looks correct so far. Is Viper wrong? Okay, so the bindings happen here, right? After bindings, what happened? Oh yes, you first of all initialize. Hold on, let me look at the initialization function again. You get the path, right? I would like to know that this path is real, and then it calls initialize config, right? Let me first of all do this first. This path, did you find it? What is this? A string, right? Did you find it? I don't know. First of all, we'll do bind envs. After bind envs, we set default, we read the configuration part, right? And if there's an error, it's new, right? But reading the configuration part, what's the end result for this? Reading the configuration, it's a course, just read the configuration, right? Okay, and then we have this. This is where this thing automatically, sets up this whole thing. So I mean, automatically reads from the env.yml file, right? So now reading configurations is one taking a path and it's reading it here. Is this just returning only for the error? Yeah, it's only returning for the error. And it's a Viper reading, so Viper write. Let's write default. That is, but this is supposed to only happen if error is not equal to new. That's if the reading went wrong, right? And we need to check if reading went wrong, right? So let us actually yeah, you can be up there, please. That's what we provide, and you can just say okay, fmt, yeah, no, not printf, just print. I'm okay with print. Yes, okay. Let's just say reading went wrong, right? And let us actually run that test again. Yeah, let's run this test again. Now we didn't need to go wrong, right? Which means we can actually say fmt.print. Yeah, let's just try this. Reading in progress. So it is in progress within the file type, and I want it to actually be a printf, right? Because I want to see what type of path was it. What type of path will you pass? So the config file path. Yes, please run this test again. So reading in progress, and it is taking in the right file path, and it actually gets it right, but it still returns this. A reference to false, empty, 0. Okay, so which means reading was actually going as planned. That's what this means. Reading went well, file was found, none of this had to happen, it returned new, right? So which means the instances that call this guy right about here, this worked, no need to actually do any extra, right? Is that what this is? If we, yeah, it worked. And then automatic env was supposed to work too, right? Interesting. If that is the case, automatic env was supposed to work too. Sheesh. I know error was thrown for you though. Let's actually go on to Viper's documentation. Let's see. Viper. First of all, let me actually read through this object here. So we have false in there, and more other brackets and 7. Am I printing Golang struct the wrong way? Okay, so yeah, I cannot do it that way. I have to actually go with field names to values, right? So yes, I was doing it the wrong way. Yes. You see, forethought. Okay, so let's just actually go into that test again and see about what could I be doing wrong here. Blah blah blah. Generate test, blah blah blah. Configure. Yes, okay. This is where it is. So I need to actually just do a couple of checks. First things first, this should be plus here, and this can be a /n tools to do multi-line separation, right? So field name to value pipes. Let's play this out and let's see what the result is. Okay, this looks much better. Are you seeing this? It is all yeah. Thank you. It's all yeah. Okay, so which means I wasn't actually making a mistake. Is the first one developed, please? Because env is there, but it's not set. Okay. Is it within this file wrong? Let's say port 3000. Debug false. Deputy secrets. Some random arbitrary shape. Nice. Right. We run this test again. What do you pick up? You really don't pick it up. What else? Okay. So you really don't pick it up. So what's going on in here? Let's actually take a look at this. Yeah, let's move on to Viper documentation. Okay, so let's move on to the browser. Okay, let's see. Viper. Okay. For me, I can't say much to this project though, for you, but let's see. Putting values into Viper. Yeah, you first of all establish the defaults. Okay, you set default first. Okay, then you set bindings and defaults now, right? So like first of all do your bindings, then you do your defaults. So let's see, the bindings is where I need to figure something out. Okay, just override. Yes, okay. This is working with env variables. Okay. It's important to recognize that Viper treats env variables as case sensitive, right? So, okay, true. Viper provides mechanism to try to ensure that env variables are unique using the set env prefix, right? You can tell Viper to use a prefix while reading from the environmental variable. Both bind and auto receive will use this prefix. Really? Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's actually look at those bindings one more time. Okay. let's look at those bindings one more time. So we have, okay, bind env, yeah, okay. Do we have a prefix? Let's see. I don't see any prefix reference in this file at all. Okay. But the bind env calls are, yeah, sure. Okay, db should be db, right? Cache db. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's see what this represents entirely. Okay. So okay, one more thing to recognize when working with env variables is that Viper provides a mechanism to try to ensure that env variables are unique by using set env prefix. You can tell Viper to use a prefix while reading from the env variable. Both bind env and automatic env will use this prefix. Okay. It takes one or more arguments. The first parameter is the key name, the rest are the name of the environment variables to bind to this key. If more than one are provided, it will take the precedence in the specific order, right? Okay, yeah, in specific order. And the name of the environment variable is always case sensitive. If environment variable's name is not provided, then Viper will automatically assume that the environment variable matches the following prefix underscore okay, as if an env variable is not provided. Yes. Okay. Okay. So when you explicitly provide the env variable name, the second parameter, it does not automatically add the prefix. For example, the second parameter is id. Viper will look for the env id. I see. Okay. 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 One important thing to recognize is that when working with env variables is that the value will be read each time it is accessed. Viper does not fix the value when the bind env is called or each time it is accessed. Are you kidding me? When working with env variables is that the value will be read each time it is accessed. Viper does not fix the value when the bind env is called. Okay. Okay, when called, Viper will check for an env variable anytime. Okay, when called, right, when automatic env is called. So I think this might be one of the sources of our problem, being that bind env just knows what the parameter to call is within the YAML file, but it doesn't call it until it's being accessed, right, via a get. Okay, but now automatic what do we call this? But isn't that what the unmarshalling of the Viper instance is? Right now, automatic env is a powerful helper because when combined with set prefix, when called, Viper will check for an environment variable anytime a Viper gets request is made. It will apply the following rules. It will check for an environment variable with a name matching the key uppercase and prefix with the prefix. Okay, it will check for an env variable with a name matching the key uppercase and prefix with the env if sets. Okay. So by default, empty env variables are considered unset. Okay. Then what about the unmarshalling? Because in the project we have this going on. In the project we have an unmarshalling operation going on somewhere here, right? So beyond this point, I think at the beginning, right, close to this part, we have a Viper write config, right, which read the configuration out and write it into Viper. Read config, write config, whatever that does, right? And we had all of that going on because this will add Viper read the configuration, and when it reads the configuration, it returns. It doesn't have to do any of this because it has read the configurations. We've already tested and checked that. Now what we're seeing here is this unmarshalling. Now what does this really do entirely? Okay, now this unmarshals the config into a struct. Make sure that the tags on the fields of the struct are properly set. Okay, I mean we're still on the same. Let's go. So you are gonna unmarshal into this struct. The tag are correctly set. What does this mean to you? Essentially, these are the tags: environment, key, cloak, message, cache. Right? What does this mean to you? What does this mean to you? Does this mean that whenever I want to use it, I need to check password again, right? So for example, we can see this. We can see the environment variable, right? And you can see the config struct out here. And when it's being used this way, right? Now, do we just attempt to use it? Let me actually say about that. Because in this case, yeah, let me attempt to use it. So sorry. Yeah, let's attempt to use it. Sorry. In this case, we have gotten a config object. Let us actually use this dot environment, right? And let's run this in the test. I mean, it's an empty struct. That much we expected. Okay, now typically, yes, I do try to debug like this before taking it to an LLM because it helps me improve my debugging skills. But yeah, this is going to ChatGPT, please. Okay, let's walk this through. Consider this. Okay. Consider this Viper configuration setup. Yes. And then consider this test. Yes. The configuration, the CFG CFG objects, it's actually a pointer, but this the CFG variable doesn't contain the YAML code, the YAML configs. It's all set to default or none. Now let's see what this comes up with. Okay, Let's see. Okay. Okay, so are you telling me that AMV normal doesn't exist? Let's try to confirm that. Yeah, this is it here. This is it here. I'm stepping out of this and I'm checking against this. Is that difficult to understand? Is that difficult to understand? Hold on. Could this test be running this thing differently? Hold on. Let's actually look at this from this angle. So let's say I'm here, right? And I go into the configs, yes, and I do go test. I mean, still the same, but this time I want to try something. I want to actually okay, so I want to try something. I want to actually do something. I want to move this in here, right, and update a test to actually instead. This is a slash. Yes, please don't go out of anywhere. Yeah, where you are, and let's run this one. Still the same. So I can, but what if the file doesn't exist? Yes, I would like to see the error in the cases whereby the file doesn't exist. If this is really the issue it thinks it is, right? So I've removed it from that location and I'm going to run the test again. I'm expecting a bug. None. Okay, so which means okay, I mean, I was supposed to go way further than this today, but shit, box. Okay, so this means two things actually. First of all, please stop doing that. Yes, thank you, and thank you, and thank you. So this means two things. First, it's either not actually seeing that file, which means that somewhere in here, this code here might actually be creating a problem and it's also actually solving one. Now, reading config, is this necessary? Since the configuration part is already available, let's see. Okay. Is that what I think it is? Wait, what does this bindings actually mean? I think I might be confusing the bindings. Okay, binds an env, binds a Viper key to an env variable. If more arguments are provided, they will represent the env variable names that should be binded to this key and will be taken in the other specific env prefix will be used. Wait, what does that mean again? No. Wait. Let's just actually do that. Let's just actually do that. Okay, so let's see. AMV YAML. Let's see. Let's say replace it with this. Right? I mean, let's just say replace it with this. Okay? So let's see. Yeah, let's see. I want you, what you give me? Yeah, you still failed. But I know that this file is not in the right location. Is it? It created it, you see, and it is empty. It created the file and the file was empty. Right. But if I move this file here to essentially replace this file, is that gonna happen? I mean, that file exists there, so let me just delete this one first. Trash this one. Yes, please. Right, and I take this file in here, right, and I will run this test. This should work. Let's see. Wait, do you work, or am I ceasing just? Port is 8080 though, right? Was that a default port or anything? Let me see what my default port binding for this. Let's go to configuration objects, AMV configuration, default port bindings. Yes, so which means this actually worked. AMV environment.env default is developed. I'm saying production. Yeah, that's correct. Debug to, yeah, this is correct. Oh, okay, this is correct. You see, this is what happens when you don't read documentation. I was using bind env wrong, so which means that the value it is at the other end wasn't what it was binding. Okay, this has given me a confidence boost. So let's move this one outward now. But yeah, this is all fine and dandy though, but I'm still confused. Well, not confused per se. It's possibly confused, but I'm still somewhere in between as to this usage of paths here. So we have the config paths, right, referenced here. Initialize config takes in that config path, and we have something here to read or create the configuration path, right? What does initialize config do with this config path? Initialize config is a function that does what? Yeah, it adds that config path to file path. Yeah, of course it does. Okay, so these bindings now, these bindings now, as we have them here, what they sort of represent to this system? Well, let's check our favorite project password, right? Okay, so let's see, config.go, yes. Okay, so these bindings, as we have them here, we're seeing pw env, pw blah 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 blah. Okay, so one is YAML instance, the other one is YAML instance. I think the other side is its name or title. Yes, when in env file, normal env file. Jeez, and I'm using YAML. That's why it is using it as YAML. Woo! Okay, I get it now. So I was using YAML file for the env instead of a .env file. That's why it was trying to do that as it is. Okay, so now that I'm using YAML and I'm properly binding the name, it will match. So then the unmarshalling also works. So we are good to go. Yes. Okay, so this means we have this here, test is working and configs are being created properly. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Okay, so let us actually get back to the kick look stuff. Yep. Okay, let's get rid of you, and you. Thank you. Okay. So wait, not this. Okay. Yeah, I want to actually make sure something here is done right. Yeah, sorry, that was in test. Yes, it's for a test. Within the test, I want you to make sure that this is actually done right. So let's run this test once again. Do you pass? Yes, you do. Good. So let's do that. Okay. So let's move this code forward. Using these configurations now. Good. We know that the configs, yeah, have been created, but yeah, this is a good time to try to look at more of the password projects around utilizing the CFGs, right? So let's actually do a run search for CFG, and I see that okay, we have the one in the main function, we have it also called in the server side, right? And we have this being used all throughout this file. Then we have it called again in the Go DB connection stuff, right? So this takes a CFG, and when you go to find out where this has been used, you see that this is being called. It's been called both in test and in the main, right? So you see, CFG is propagated upwards, and since that is where it is going to come from, we have to initialize it in the one place that matters the most. So which means we are going to pass it down through which means anywhere that we need to use these configurations, we simply call a certain function to initialize the configuration. So in our own case, what would that be? Thankfully, we have something called utils, and we can initialize the configuration right here. I think I'd like to have that, and yes, config, yeah, just get config. Right, so your response here is going to be a reference to the config struct, and essentially that entire operation happened here to initialize this configuration, right? You're going to do it for me, and yes, you're going to do it and do it right. Well, yeah, okay. Let's see. Not just this. Is it init? Yeah, okay. The path in this case, yeah, same path. Yes, and the configuration name is yeah, same name. Let's see, everything is looking the same in most aspects, just that you're gonna do a log fatal. Well, for this error, let's see, you're gonna do a log fatality, and yeah, we're gonna return CFG. Thank you, and that's about it. So any place that we need this in this project, especially in the major places, I don't want them to be used everywhere. Services, we need them. I would like them to be defined externally to most things, right? So creating a new kicklook instance, for example, let's say config. I don't want this to propagate. Yeah, the error has already been handled. I don't need to propagate upwards. Let me know if I call it config, just CFG, right? And you recall config, sorry, you recall get config. Thank you, and that's about it. So CFG has been called. Comparator declared are not used. Yeah, so now this is going to actually be used here as CFG. We replace whatever's going on with this guy, right? You call kicklook, you get the ID. Yep, look at that, simple as ABC. So okay, CFG kicklook dot secret. get cfg kickloop dot redirect, yes, and cfg kickloop dot well. Okay, good. So we've created this guy so far. We have new events, we have new edits, we have all this, right? So it's time to create our kickloop objects, right? So just simply are you returning a full kickloop object? I want you to return a reference to a kickloop object, right? I don't want you to actually always create a new kickloop object. If you can return a reference to that to the same object and just propagate that through the system, that's going to be good. So let's see. Let's see. Okay, what are we creating? Client ID. Client ID is going to be let's see. Yeah, same actually. Just take client ID like this. Okay. Client secrets. Yeah. Yes. Okay. What else are we getting? Redirect URL. Yeah, same. What else are we getting? The realm. Yeah, we have direct realm. Same. And what else? Is that all? No. HTTP clients is also here. And now, why do we have those? Okay, so from the pages that we're transposing, we actually have, let's look at the kickloop service. Yes. Come on, get down to the class, please. Yep. Okay. So we have we have a calling model, essentially a HTTP function, HTTP client, right? So I think that's part of the struct in this case, right? So because we have that client is going to be handling the calls, right? Now this is a chance for me to actually get conversance with HTTP. Yeah, so HTTP client is going to be a type of what? Is it HTTP net dot client, right? Okay. Well, what would this client take? A transport. Okay. What else is it going to have within? A check redirects. Okay. Cookie jar. Okay. Timeout. So which means it needs the URL every time it needs to make a request, right? So which means the URL is just going to be part of the base structure for this in general, right? So even the kickloop URL, right? So base kickloop host URL, that also as a part of the configuration. So you see, let's see. Okay, let's get to kickloop. Yes, please. Let's see. Host URL. Yeah. Okay. Default, please. Yeah. Okay. What else are we doing here? Nope. Okay. Why that? Okay. So we have a host URL. What else are we going to add to this? It will need some headers, right? Does it know its headers? This dot headers. This dot headers. Yeah. The header is going to be a content type, right? Is there a? I want to take a client like this. I want to actually see about having the proper functions, right? So let's see. We have host URL. Let's say host underscore URL string. Let's see, headers. It should be a map of HTTP header actually, yes. And then yeah, HTTP header, yes. Right, that's all I need. Right, so we have those two sets up there. HTTP clients, we don't need this here, they're not going to be used. I mean, we will attach some functions to the struct soon that will perform those rules, but they need to know the headers and this main string. Yeah, so as for the event services, right, it does need the event services, but they are basically structs on their own. So let us actually have them here. Event services, which is going to just be a pointer to the event service struct. And one of those dangerous creatures just flew past by. Okay, so and then there's going to be a Redis service, which is just a cache service. So let us have the cache service, which is going to be an asterisk to the Redis service. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so in the after that, we are going to just take ourselves through this and give ourselves an event. Are you returning this? Yeah. Let's see. Thank you. Okay, event service. Yes. Look at that. And cache service, which is going to actually point to Redis service. Sorry. Okay. Okay, what else do we need to have here? So far, so good. What else do we need? Too few values for struct literal, obviously. We need some more. Redis service is already set here then, right? Is this not it? Declared and not used. No, it's used. Is this not it? Yeah, this is being used here, right? I mean, isn't that the case? Or should I change the name to match? I guess. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What else do I need to preserve here? Now, is it that I will still confirm to if this needs to be matched by name or if it can just be matched by the values within. Host URL in this case is is from configs, right? So host URL should be a cfg dot keycloak. Interesting. Okay. So if you are actually entering values into a struct like this, it seems that you can't combine the syntax with the other one. Let me actually check that up. So okay, yeah, so it's been confirmed. This has to be exactly in order and exactly in yes, inflexible as usual. Okay, so let's see. In that case, yeah, client ID to client ID. I'm not missing for anybody again. Client secret to client secret. Yes, that's fine. Redirect to redirect. I mean, what is LSP for? And realm to realm. Yes. Okay. Yes, please. No, not a dot, please. A comma. Thank you. And a cache for a cache. Right. Host. Now let's get to you. Host is going to be a CFG. Yeah. A CFG. Keycloak. Then host URL. Yes. And what else do we have here? Header. Now header is going to be a make for a map, and this map takes a string to a string, and in this case a string to a string, and in this case we are going to take in wait hold on. Can I just type and size? Oh, yeah, no. For the make object itself, yeah, this is usually meant to make an empty listen. Yeah, sorry, I'm not using make. But let's go do it. So the name for this is going to be content type, please. Content type, and its associate values is going to be an application, okay, right? I mean, okay, what are we getting? Cannot use mapping string, value of type. Oh really? What is header type then? Shit. Type header is a string mapping to an array of strings. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Right, hold on. Let's actually go to a header type. And I will string mapping to, okay, so if we have a type of header, right? And we say text proto to add the header. Okay, main header, right? Add the header. You take the key, header key, and append the header key. Oh, the value. So I'm mapping a string, right? Wait, let's actually look at this. I want to actually understand this type, because it seems like an array of an array. No, like a hash map to an array. Yeah, like a string key to an array body, meaning that the headers could be multiple items, right? Okay, we can put that off. A string to that, but is that how I want to create the header itself, right? I'd rather just make the header. Yeah, I'd rather just make the header. I think I was on the right path with that actually. Let's go there. Let's make the header. Instead of making the type, make the header itself, right? And say okay, make http header, right? And when you make that header, right, what's the this is gonna be interesting. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's take this out from here. Let's see, header is this, right? Now header dot, you see, yeah, all the functions are there. So we can see header dot add content type. Yeah. So let's do this. Header dot add the key and the value, right? So I don't care how this happens underneath, but I'm gonna give you what you're looking for. Yes, thank you. We don't need you. We don't need you. So just give me this guy, and I'm good to go. So yeah, yep. Come on. Yep. Sorry, hold on. Just give me this one more, and say header. Isn't that beautiful? Wait. Good. So what else are we looking for here? Okay, value of type group is not used. Oh yes, it should be assigned to something. Sorry. yeah, let's say, yeah, return this. Yeah, return this. Aha, that's about it. So okay, so now we've created this new kicklook instance. It's time to attach our functional attachments to it, and let's call it a K with an asterisk for kicklooks throughout. Now what calls are we trying to do with it? We're trying to send a request, right? We're also trying to get token states. We're also trying to check token status, generate token client, client token, and then authenticate. Let's start with the first one. Just one. Yeah, base one, send request, because it will always use send request, right? So send request. What does it take in? The request. Whew. The request. Let me just put it as a string for now. I will still expand it up. And then there's the extra options, which is actually yeah, this is based on the request, right? So I can just make it a map of, yes. If I say a map any to any, is this possible? That should be possible, right? I mean, why not? This is gonna return, yeah, it's gonna return any, actually. Yes, any and error, right? Yeah, just make that a tuple to return any. Yes, and for now, just return wait, if I did this dot new, will this work? Yeah, I cannot use that. So what am I going to do? Yeah, just return for now. Okay, so that's the baseline implementation so far. This file looks good. Events.go, are you okay? What's popping? Yes, this is gone, please. Yes, yeah. The configurations now. Let's see, let's make it a constant. Yeah, yeah, actually, yeah, let's define it as a separate constant. No, not a constant, a variable, whose value, what's the value again? Yeah, CFG, global CFG should be equals to init. Yes, thank you. Oh yeah, this will return both the type error and the other one. Okay, yeah, no, not sorry. Yeah, let's call get config. Thank you. Yes, this is where it's returning configuration. Thank you, and I can use that down here. Okay, so anyway that we see a need for configurations right now, we just simply do cfg dot message. Yes, keyboards please. Yes, thank you, that should do it. Same thing with this guy. Yeah, cfg dot messages, then everything QQ. Doesn't that look good? Same thing with this. Let's just take the same approach for AMV. Let's not type more than once. Oh, I can type. I mean, this is already giving us an issue. Okay, so we're going to take this on tomorrow. I mean, we've already gone a bit far today, mostly with respect to just debugging the Viper situation. Viper is back and Viper is good. So let's actually move on to sleep. I'm going to fix all of these configuration stuffs tomorrow and look into this where this issue here. Yeah, that's about it. I'm really tired.